This is my favorite part of everybody's NBA journey. How did you get to Butler? What were the options? What was the recruitment process? Give us everything.
Yeah,
this is what I live for.
Well, my story is not going to be that interesting for you because I was not very recruited. I was a late bloomer, like I just said. I mean, I averaged 18 points as a senior in high school. Now we were all defense, and I had another teammate of mine who played at Miami of Ohio. He was also 6'8", but he was a big, so he played on the block. I played on the perimeter. He averaged 18. I mean, our scores were probably like 45 to 40. But so it wasn't like I was dropping 30 balls and all this. Like I said, I wasn't that highly recruited. I wanted to. I don't know if you have. I wanted to play tennis. I wanted to win a state tennis title. I was actually better at tennis in high school than I was basketball.
I heard.
And so I took off my last the junior year, the summer of my junior year, to try to basically win a title my senior year. And I had already committed to Butler at the time. I felt like it was the right place for me. But I think if I would have played that last summer before going into my senior year, I would have gotten more recruited because I had kind of like started to blow up a little bit. But my story was basically like we had 5:45 a.m. workouts at our gym. College coaches would come through and they would watch, but they were really there for my buddy, my teammate, Julian. And I kind of just slowly started to grow and started to get better. And Butler was there from day one. Brad was actually an assistant at the time, so he was recruiting me as an assistant coach. And I think I don't remember who all was there, but like a lot of bigger power, like because Butler was in the Horizon League back then, so this was like a mid-major, and they were kind of like they were really one of the only ones recruiting me at the gym. There was a bunch of other Power 5 conferences there at the gym, but they were recruiting Julian. And so Butler was there from the beginning. The other schools that were involved, IUPY offered. IUPY is where George Hill went.
George Hill,
a smaller school in Indianapolis. And then other than that, I took an unofficial visit to Michigan, but never got offered, and took an unofficial visit to Purdue, which that was both, like I told you, both my parents went to Purdue. I was brainwashed to go there my whole life. I was a Purdue fan. I wanted to go there. That was like my dream, play at Purdue. And I took an unofficial there, and the visit just didn't go great. And which Coach Painter and I have talked about and laughed about. But they were loaded. Purdue was loaded at the year above me. That was Etuan, Jawan, Robbie Hummel, Scott Martin. They were loaded. They were like one of the best teams in the country.
Yes, they were.
Especially at my position with Robbie and Scott and Etuan. Like, so it just really, it didn't feel right. And Butler felt right the whole time. And then when Coach Licklider left, Brad was then promoted to the head coach, which was like perfect for me because he was like my contact. And decided that Butler just felt right. Butler felt like that was the place that I should go, and decided to go. There's 20 minutes from my house. You'll like this is a little bit funny. Like when I was a sophomore in high school, so wasn't recruited at all, but still wanted to play in college, had that goal. We drove past Butler, my dad and I, and he was like, "What do you think about Butler? Like, would you ever want to play there?" And I was like, "Dad, if I can't play D1, like I'm not going to play in college. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just go be a normal student." And he's like, they are D1. Right. Like they're a mid-major, they're in the Horizon League, they're D1. And so it's just funny how it ended up coming back, and I ended up playing there. And that was probably one of the best decisions I made. But, they were never on my radar though,
When you say, and I'm not trying to get a story or anything, I'm just curious because again, I've had hoop dreams all my life, but I never was recruited and, had conversations with coaches and anything like that. When you say a visit, it didn't go well, what does that mean?
So it basically, it's hard to exactly put into words because sometimes you get this feel like it just didn't feel like I should, like that's the place I should be. That was a part of it. Another part of it is my dad's an engineer, and Purdue's a great engineering school.
Is that why that was your major? Wasn't your major?
Yeah, that was my major. I thought that was what I wanted to do. I was interested in it. And so I remember I told Coach Painter, like, hey, he's like, what would you want to study? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, I think I want to study engineering. Like, my dad's a computer engineer. He graduated from that. That would be really cool to me. And he was kind of like, well, you're probably gonna have to pick something else because we've never had an engineer go through this, be on our team and go through the engineering program. It's the times don't add up for practice. It's going to be really tough.
Oh,
So that's just not going to work. And I just remember thinking like, that could be true, but I don't know why you would just tell me that like on like straight up.
right.
And so the other thing that happened was, and this was, and like I said, I think Coach Painter is one of the greatest coaches in college basketball. I think he's
Absolutely.
really, really good. I actually played for him in the U19 team.
Mm,
And he was awesome. But at the time he was just telling me how it is, and it's probably not what I wanted to hear. I wanted to be like, we really want you, rah rah. And the other thing that he said, I remember, was like, hey, like at Purdue, you have to earn all your time. You're not just gonna be given anything. And I just want to let you know, like, you got some really good players in front of you with Robbie and with Scott, and they're your position. And so you might come here to Purdue and you might not play the whole time. And so like after him saying those things, and it just didn't feel like it was kind of that. That's what I mean by like it didn't really go that well. And as I alluded to, like that was my dream. My parents both went to Purdue. Like I wanted to go there, and it just didn't work out. And that's, like I said, me and Coach Painter have laughed about it since then. And maybe I don't turn into the player that I was if I didn't
yes.
go to Butler. You know what I mean? Sometimes, a lot of times, it's about opportunity and being able to be out onto the court. We had, I think, 6 freshmen my freshman year in at Butler, and there's a bunch of seniors that left the year before, so we all got an opportunity. Like most of us got an opportunity to play right from the get go, which was huge. You know what I mean? Being able to just have that experience. If you go to a bigger school that has people in front of you, you have to wait. Maybe you don't develop. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't.